Hello out there, and in front of you today are a couple new Spyderco knives. And you know guys, I really wasn't intending to make a video about either of these knives. I have a ton of ideas that I'm trying to get in front of the camera, plus how many reviews that I'm just behind on that I still need to do. And, you know, I just didn't think that there was going to be enough of an interest in this new Meerkat here. And I know that you've all heard me talk about the Para 3 quite a few times already. So I just didn't think there was a need. But on second thought, I figured let's just combine them into one quick video and talk about the two knives and at least get them out there for you to see if you're interested. All right, so starting with the Meerkat, what we have is a sprint run of Hap40 and SUS 410 on this discontinued model. And this is the first time I've ever had a Meerkat, and that's why I picked it up. It is a really neat little design. All of the discontinued models I was never able to get my hands on, and so I figured when this sprint run was announced, I would just try to jump on it and pick it up. And while I'm glad that I did, this knife certainly isn't for everybody. It has some neat characteristics and features, but when it comes to actual use and functionality, I think that for a knife of this size, and you can see, I mean, each one of these squares is a ½ inch. We have about a 1.5, 1.75 inch cutting edge here. You know, when we're looking at smaller knives like this, there are a number of them that I can think of that would be much more useful and practical. And I'll bring some of those in a bit. But the big specialty, I guess, when it comes to this knife, one of the things that makes it stand out is just the way that the locking mechanism disengages. Because you have to push the scale down, as you can see right there, and that lets the lockup free. So pretty cool. I mean, if you've never had this knife and you didn't know that, it could take you an hour or even more, actually, to figure that out, that you just pull this down, and yeah, the knife swings down. One thing I noticed, though, is that when you open it, there will be a slight little bit of play if you're not 100% sure that that scale is pushed all the way up. All right, so sometimes when that scale gets pushed down and then lets back up, it doesn't go all the way up as high as it should in order to create perfect lockup. So just something you have to keep in mind. Not really a big deal, but something I noticed. The thing that makes it great, though, because of where that disengagement is that you have a completely flush top of the scale, which is just really attractive. I mean, it is neat. You know, usually that's where you'd have a back lock, and that whole you know, the spine, I guess, here would be interfered with by that back lock, but here it's just completely flush all the way through. Really good looking, gives it a unique little look, and they did a good job overall with this knife. One other thing that I really like, and I've mentioned it before in videos, is I love the way that Spyderco has a set color pattern for each of their specialty steels. So if you get like a Hap40 knife in FRN or in G10, it's always going to be this burnt orange, the same way that the S110V is always blurple, and the ZDP 189 is British Racing Green, and so on and so on. We have, you know, just a neat little look when it comes to that you know what kind of steel you're getting. So now let's talk about ergonomics, and then I'll bring in a couple other comparisons. So very small knife, not going to be for most people who have large hands. There is a nice little cutout here at the back for your pinky, so you can really squeeze it in, but there is no jimping. So the knife doesn't lock in quite as well as it could, and as well as I think it would need to in order to really be a good choice for a smaller knife. You know, and so off the top of my head, just some of the knives that I thought of that would probably serve you better for actual EDC use. Kershaw OD2. This one is also discontinued, so maybe not the best example because not always the easiest knife to get your hands on. But here's a CRKT Squid. You know, obviously just a little bit larger in terms of blade length, but overall length is about the same and way better in the hand, and just a much stronger, more durable seeming knife to use. Here it is next to an Ambitious. Again, the Ambitious has a longer blade length, but pretty similar in terms of overall width and total length. So practicality here, again, not going to be at the top, but it is just a really neat little collector's piece. Oh, and here's an interesting one because the Man Bug has about the same cutting edge here, but look how much shorter it is overall. And in hand, it's actually very good. So yeah, this might be just a good one to get a hold of if you wanted something new and unique and different, or certainly if you're a collector. I know there are a lot of fans of this design out there who were really anxious to get a hold of a new one. But apart from that, you know, if you're looking for a smaller knife, something practical to use and carry either as a backup or you just like a really small knife to EDC, maybe not the best one to go with. You know, a number of other options out there, a few of which I just showed that would probably be preferable when it comes to actually using and cutting with. Now, that said, Hap40, great steel. It's going to be really, really good and functional as far as like being able to cut, but probably just not a top preference when it comes to just the way that it feels and using it. So there is that. Let's bring in now the S110V Para 3. And I've talked about the Para 3 quite a few times before. The reason why I wanted to bring this one on camera was because of all the different variations, and I'm sure I will probably have more variations in the future. This is the one I was looking forward to the most. The S110V Paramilitary 2 was one that I really liked, but was too big for me. Just wanted a smaller version. So as soon as the Para 3 came out, I started looking forward to the day that they would do this. And I'm really happy with it. There's really no big difference between this and other Para 3s, but certainly just wanted to get it on camera, give you a look at those blurple scales. One color difference you can see right here, and that's just because of where the locking mechanism is for the compression lock. So yeah, it does look darker all around, and then right where you have that liner, it is a little bit lighter. So that's something you'll definitely notice. But overall, I think it's a great looking knife. One more thing I wanted to mention, because a few of the Para 3s that I've had, the first one and then the Digicam one, were very, very stiff out of box. And then the most recent one I got, the black on black with the DLC coating, that one was stupid smooth, guys. I don't know if you remember that, but I mean, it came out of the box like just perfect. And I wasn't sure if the constant quality improvement had like made some corrections when it comes to those knives out of box, but take a look at this. All right, so this one's pretty stiff, we'll just say that. I'm breaking it in, so there's no real worries about it. I've used this knife already a lot. I carried it at work and had a number of occasions to bust it out and actually use it quite a bit yesterday. So yeah, it is slowly breaking in, but it might be one of those things where this pivot has to be slightly adjusted, and I'm not sure, and I won't know until it just breaks in more and more. So it is getting there, but definitely has some way to go still. So I will follow up on that if there is any big sweeping change. But overall, like I said, just really thrilled with this one. And I think that brings me to my question for you guys. If you are interested in the Para 3, you know that there are a ton of different variations that are already out or will be coming out. Which one is the one you're looking to the most? You know, which one are you most interested in? There's some sprint runs. I know Maximet's on the way. So what do you think would be the coolest one? Let me know down below. Any other questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, let me know about that as well. But I look forward to talking with you soon, and thanks for watching. Have a good one and take care.